about the region, the delightful canoe country and snowshoe country of Florence and Jaques. Most famous of all is the great two-volume Birds of Minnesota by Dr. Roberts, with lovely color plates.
I'm Doug Armato, and I came to the press as director in 1998, just the fifth director in our now 100 years of history. All the time I worked at other university presses, it was Minnesota that I most admired for the history of innovation, the creativity of the editorialists, the professionalism and dedication of the staff, and the willingness to take risks. So when the position came open, I jumped at the chance. Every year since, and there have now been 27 of them, has been a constant thrill and an education. Thanks.
I didn't really have high expectations for the book when we did it. I just wanted to put it out there in the world and use it for education. Really, it was the hopes and dreams back then. I wasn't dreaming big enough.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us were really prepared as to kind of the way it just took off a little bit. And so, I feel really lucky with the team that worked with us on the whole situation. And obviously, you were just kind of holding my hand through so much. I was just starting back then, so right. Everything was just vision. Everything was just a dream in the future. And obviously, we've created so much, but we owe so much of that success to that book that really became so tangible for so many people.
Yeah, thank you.
At a time when so many publishers care only about the bottom line, I am so excited and proud of the work of a press that is looking not to publish the books that will sell, but the books that are necessary to the ways in which we live and think about our world, the ways in which we feel in it.
I'm just so happy with the care that you give to all our books. So particularly in my kind of world, disability culture world, this is such an important aspect of publishing. So I appreciate you, I celebrate you, and I wish for many more beautiful performance, eco-criticism, disability culture, indigenous studies, critical race theory, all the beautiful objects, all the beautiful subjects that you're working on. I wish for many, many more beautiful objects to come to me through your beautiful press. Thank you so much.
The press for me has always been a home. When I was a junior scholar and I was publishing my first book, a lot of my friends were publishing their first books with other presses, and I saw the kind of experiences that they were having at those presses where, their needs weren't being met and they were kind of pushed through the process. And my experience at Minnesota was one that was really suffused with care, and people were paying attention to what I needed and what the book needed, and it ensured that I always felt at home at the press and have always gone back to the press with all of my writing projects, and probably always will.
100 years, that's a long time. The press has published thousands of titles on topics ranging from Minnesota fish and wildlife to Bob Dylan and our beloved Prince to Star Tribune approved cookie recipes. And on a personal note, the press published my book, The Senator Next Door. I couldn't have been with a better publisher, and I know so many other Minnesota authors feel the same way. U of M Press, thank you for making our state better, one book at a time.
Congratulations to the University of Minnesota Press, or U-Press as we call it inside the university, for 100 years of publishing and their many scholarly contributions to the state, the nation, and the world. Also, my sincere thanks and congratulations to the current U-Press director, Douglas Armato, for his tremendous leadership in navigating through the ups and downs of the publishing business. I'm very proud of this team. With service since 1925 and over 3,800 books in print, the University of Minnesota Press has built a lasting legacy. Here's to the next 100 years.
Meno Dibishkan Ingadwak, University of Minnesota Press. Happy 100th birthday. It has been a real pleasure to be able to share some of the story of the Ojibwe people of northern Minnesota with the world through the University of Minnesota Press, and I am so grateful.
running a bookstore on the North Shore in northern Minnesota, I get a lot of requests for local history, and I am so grateful to be able to recommend University of Minnesota Press titles, because not only are they very well researched and thoughtful and professional, they're appealing. They're engaging to the casual reader as well as the academic reader. Walking the Old Road, Gitche Patowick, these are huge titles for us. Oh, and also, Good Night Moon, Good Night Loon.
I remember when Richard Morrison and I were trying to come up with the title for my first book with Minnesota. I kept using words like aberrancy and blackness. And then later on that night, I was tossing it around and I thought, black aberrations, and I thought, no, aberrations in black. And then I called him the next day and I said, I think I have the title for you, Aberrations in Black. And at first he said no, and then he said, wait, that's good. And so it's moments like that that really speak to me about the uniqueness of the University of Minnesota Press, its collaborative nature with authors, its commitment to pushing the edge, its dedication to taking scholarship to the next level.
As a librarian, the press has been a fantastic partner, especially in the creation of Manifold, a revolutionary platform that brings open access books to readers across the globe. Here in the libraries, we use Manifold to promote publishing across campus. It's a wonderful tool and aligns with our values as librarians. I can't wait for the next 100 years and imagine many more books to come on Manifold.
One of the things I love about the press is that they have so many great book covers. And as someone who has very much been known to buy a book based on its cover, I was thrilled to receive exactly that kind of eye-catching design. The yellowed edges of the paper and the retro font suggesting the historical narrative. And it's got this beautiful use of color palette and images. For the upcoming paperback edition, the press is going to be adding a digital sticker to commemorate the book's winning a James Beard Award in 2024. So I'm not a designer, but it's the 100th anniversary, so I thought I should do my share and try and pitch in a little, so I went ahead and crafted a draft of what the new cover could look like. Nailed it. Thanks, Minnesota.
The University of Minnesota Press has always been the forerunner, really the guardian angel of media philosophers and film philosophers for many, many years.
When I began looking for a place to publish my first book, I knew it had to be a press that would support a hybrid project, one where substantial digital components were being published by the press alongside a printed book. I had been building digital editions and data sets and visualizations as part of my research process, and I wanted all of that to be folded into the actual book in a meaningful way, and I wanted a press that understood how meaningful that was to me. And at the time, there was only one academic press that was doing this kind of hybrid print digital publishing sustainably, and that was University of Minnesota Press. It's no secret that digital publishing can be pretty complicated. It introduces new questions about copyright and labor and credit and of course long-term viability. But by integrating Manifold into the publishing process, University of Minnesota Press stabilized a lot of these questions for me as an author, and they made it in fact quite easy because they are experts in accessibility and could answer my questions and advocate for me around questions of copyright and issues of copyright. But they've also been at the forefront of publishing in digital humanities. The Debates in Digital Humanities series has not only defined the field for a generation of scholars, but cemented that relationship with Manifold as a digital publishing platform, because we now have annotatable online versions of individual essays that have become canonical, and I teach them and they're read by students around the world.
Happy birthday, University of Minnesota Press. Want to express how much we appreciate you and are grateful for the support you've given our bookstore in the past 7 years. Hope you have a wonderful birthday and wishing you many years of future success.
Happy 100th birthday to the University of Minnesota Press. Your dedication to advancing knowledge has been a tremendous benefit to the scholarly community and to the state of Minnesota. And as publisher of the MMPI since 1942, you've made an indelible mark on the field of psychology in the U.S. and the many countries where the test has been translated and adapted for use. So here's to another 100 years of publishing excellence.
I've been working with the University of Minnesota Press for about 20 years. I signed my first contract with them in 2004, and the way that came about was one of the luckier accidents of my life. I was at a trade show, and I stopped by the University of Minnesota Press booth to tell them how happy I was. They were reissuing Wanda Gogg's picture books because she is one of my all-time favorite authors and one of my heroes. The University of Minnesota Press has brought such careful attention to detail, to making these books the best possible books they can be. I could not ask for more.
I'm so happy to wish the University of Minnesota Press a very happy 100th birthday. I love both my University of Minnesota Press books. A huge thank you to Peter Martin for his work on model work, and a huge thank you to Doug Armato for his support of The Death of Things. Doug was such an amazing editor, and he understood the book that I wanted to write, and he supported it from the very beginning, and it made all the difference. We were able to get permission to use this image by the artist John Gerard, and it made for such a great cover. I still get compliments about this quite often. So congratulations on 100 years. I'm really excited for the next 100 years of more great books.
One of the things I like most about the University of Minnesota Press is the way that everyone there understands the role of images in my field of architectural history. That these images are not just illustrations, but rather they're the visual evidence I've used to build the book's scholarly argument. So the design team takes great care to make sure that the images are beautifully integrated into the text, and they also use a paper stock that allows the images to pop without being so expensive that no one can afford to buy the book. In those ways and many others, the press has really invested in my work, and I'm forever grateful.
I've done a bunch of books with the University of Minnesota Press. I've worked with other publishers as well, and I keep coming back to the U of M Press just because they take the time and they do it right. Just look at these covers of some of the books that they've done for me. These are like mini masterpieces. Each one of them takes so much effort.
For many years, I've enjoyed reading the great books on music to come out of the University of Minnesota Press, including several volumes on one of the great Minnesotan heroes, Bob Dylan, as well as I want to say a thank you to the press for bringing back into print the work of Ellen Willis in these two volumes, and specifically this book, Out of the Vinyl Deeps, Ellen Willis and Rock Music, remains one of my favorite books of music criticism of all time. So thank you so much, U of M Press, and keep up the great work. Looking forward to the next 100 years.
Happy 100th birthday to the University of Minnesota Press. It's been such a pleasure over the last decade to work with the press on projects like the Debates in Digital Humanities book series and the Manifold Publishing platform. And I wish it continued good luck as it shares and shapes the work of the Academy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, UMN Press, for all of your amazing work. Thank you for believing in us.
Congratulations on 100 incredible years, and here's to the next 100. Thanks, U of M Press.
Once again, congratulations to all of you.
On this anniversary, I say to you, congratulations.
So here's to another 100 years of publishing excellence.
Once again, congratulations to University of Minnesota Press.
I just want to say happy anniversary, and I hope you have another 100 years of publishing great books.
Bye-bye and celebrations.